Okay, so last year I made a video called Why You Should Quit Dating Apps. And I went strong the whole year. Wasn't on any of the dating apps, which was great for my mental health, and I was doing everything I could to meet people in real life. But I kind of felt like a guy asking for directions in a world where everyone already has smartphones, and meeting people in real life was a lot harder than I thought. And after a year of no results, it kind of reminded me that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and expecting different results. I knew I had to change something up. So like a broke kid moving back into their parents' basement, I had no choice but to come crawling back to the apps. Which is why when Hinge offered me the chance to try out their top most premium feature for only $12 a week for the low price of $13.60 after tax, I thought, why not? So in this video, let's talk about what you get with Hinge Premium, or what they call Hinge X. What the experience was like for me trying out 1 week of it in 2 different stints, and what I learned about the app and myself when the whole thing was over. All right, let's get into it. What do you get and for how much? Now, at the time of recording, Hinge has 2 premium tiers. There's the Plus and then the X. Don't know why they named that. And as I was writing the script, I guess Plus you get a little bit more, but if you add, then you get multiply, so X is better. I have no clue. Let's start with the lower tier, which is just the Plus. With just the Plus, you get unlimited likes. You can see everyone who likes you, which I guess if you don't get a lot of likes isn't a real benefit. And more advanced sorting preferences. Filters such as height, education background, recreational use of substances, etc. Now, but X is where you get the real powerful features. You get priority likes, so yours appears at the top of their likes list. You get skip the line, which is where your profile shows up first on their feeds. And something called enhanced recommendations, which I literally have no idea what that is. So even on paper, when I was looking at the benefits you get, I never would have considered the Plus, because I guess all you really get is the ability to send unlimited, but the X always enticed me. But here's where we get to the pricing. Now, I've made a chart here that lays out exactly how the pricing works. Now, the cheapest option is 1 week of Hinge Plus, the lower tier, which is only $20 for 1 week. I don't think that's a good deal at all, and I would never pay full money for that. But this is where the pricing starts to get you. Well, for only $5 more, you could get a week of Hinge X, the one that actually gives you some of these powerful benefits like skipping the line. But I'm like, $25 for a week does not sound like great value. I want a little bit of a better deal. So for a month, it only costs $55, like double and then a bit of change for 4 times as longer. And then I start thinking, well, like, I guess for a month, paying $55, maybe it'll be around $60 after tax. Like that's still pretty expensive, but I guess I get more bang for my buck. But now I'm starting to think, well, what's the best optimized deal? Well, if you double the price from $50, now for only $100, you get 3 months of Hinge X. That's a great deal, and easy math comes out to about $30 per month. That's not that bad, okay. But then for 6 months, you would have to pay $180, but then now I'm like, I don't want to pay $180 on a dating app, and I don't know if I want to be stuck in this for 6 months. God help me if I need to be on this for 6 months. So you set out in a kind of curious state, like what's the most I'm willing to pay, but very quickly you can calculate out with very simple mental math that for $100, a 3-month deal isn't bad. But then just like that, I went from thinking I would spend only a little bit to, well, maybe I'll just spend $100 on this. And that is crazy how quickly you settle on that optimized deal. It's almost like they figured out the optimal pricing for this. And the Asian to me, I can't give up a good deal, but $100 is just high enough that it's not an amount that I would be willing to spend so easily on a 3-month dating app. And also know that these are subscriptions, okay? Before you go buy anything, make sure that you know that it's a subscription with auto renew turned on. So if you are going to try it out, make sure you turn off the auto renewal. So the pricing is set up in a way where you have to pay relatively a lot for a short duration or relatively a lot more for a longer duration. But kind of like wholesale, the longer duration, you get a better deal. But the price point was never good enough for me to pull the trigger on it. But when Hinge enticed me with a 1-week trial for just 50% off, $13.60 after tax, I was like, I'm willing to do that. I'm definitely willing to pay a really hard to find cheap lunch deal in NYC for 1 week experience of this Hinge Plus or Hinge X. Because why not? Let's give it a shot. And thus began my rabbit hole into the strange world of Hinge X. So, once I signed up for it, well, what did I get? Well, they give you a few advantages right off the bat, and I'm going to break up what you get into kind of objective benefits and some subjective benefits. Now, Hinge needs to be able to scientifically prove that they give you an advantage when you pay them money. Because God forbid, if someone wanted to dispute it or sue them, they can point to their data and say, look, we actually give you an advantage, right? So what do you objectively get from Hinge X? The number one thing is that you get unlimited likes, but they're not just normal likes. These are priority likes. So unlimited likes is exactly what you know. You can send as many as you want. And then the priority likes means that you appear at the top of their list. Now, I have a lot of female friends that are on Hinge and they have so many likes. That's when I first realized, damn, as a guy, my likes just gets buried. The fact that you can send a priority likes that goes right to their top is a real benefit because they see you a lot faster. Now, also, you get double the amount of standouts. I think you get almost up to 20, which is just way too much. But in order to talk to any of those 20 from the standout section, you need to send the rose. Oh, but guess what? Hinge doesn't give you any more roses. So if you're gonna want to send roses, you're gonna have to pay up for that. But now let's talk a little bit more about the subjective benefits. The thing I noticed was that the average attractiveness of the women on there just skyrocketed. It was almost like when you're on the free version, they showed you like this snippet on the attractiveness scale, and then they shifted that window to like the most attractive people on the platform. I've blurred out the faces to protect the people's identities, but even the types of photos that they're taking are just on a different level. They're so much more professional. They're always taken by somebody else. There are a lot more vacation photos involving exotic locations, and a lot of them look like amateur models. So many of them have their Instagram handle on one of the prompts as well. It made me think, it's almost like they know who the attractive people are, and then they hide that behind a paywall because it's better for their business. So, what was it like having it? I started swiping like all day, every day. In the beginning, I thought, well, if I only have a week's worth to try it out, I might as well get, most bang for my buck. So I would open it and then start swiping. But then everyone is like so attractive. I would go so long without ever rejecting a single person. Even if someone was borderline, I mean, you might as well send the like. It's not like before, when you're a cat, you have to kind of pick and choose who you want to send likes to. Now it's just like, well, like I have unlimited, and then they're gonna see it first because it's the priority likes. I might as well just send it. Like, it doesn't cost me anything except probably my time. And speaking of time, I started logging at least an hour every day on this app for the week. Sometimes it went up to an hour and a half, 2 hours. I was using Hinge like a social media platform, which is crazy. I don't want to be spending a movie's worth of time on social media every day, let alone on a dating app. That's so bad. I started sending likes to pretty much anybody because, well, like, why not? And then sometimes I started seeing the same people, and then it's just like... And I did get more matches, sure. I got so many matches at one point. Hinge limited my ability to get more matches because if 8 people are waiting on your response, you're not even allowed to get any more matches, which how would I have ever known that? But most of my matches ended up ghosting me. At a certain point, I didn't even know what to message them anymore. And that's when I started feeling this sense of dread. Each swipe, it was like pulling the slot machine. It's like if you see an attractive profile, you want to send them a like, and then you're so excited to see the next one. Are they going to be attractive or not? If they are attractive, you are stuck in this feedback loop. If they are not attractive, so you want to try again and you want to see the next profile. And they're showing you so many more attractive profiles versus bad ones, like in terms of ratio. And so you just get stuck in this infinite loop. I started hating how gamified it was, like more so than it had ever been before. Like when I was on the free tier, because I'm capped at a certain amount, after I reach my limit, I can go on with my day. But then now, every free moment, I'm thinking, well, should I get back and start swiping again? I know I have an addictive personality, so I stay away from slot machines and gambling on purpose. But then now, having one built into my pocket, it just kind of, it drove me to an unhealthy relationship with my phone. God, I started hating like little things about the app. That, like, for example, it's so bright. In our day and age, there's a dark mode for every app out there. Probably apps that don't even need dark mode has dark mode. But Hinge, it's so white and it's so bright. I hated how much my eyes started hurting from staring at a white screen every day. But most of all, I hated how it made me feel. I hated that I was just swiping on these people that had become nothing but just like, at that point, I might as well have been doom scrolling influencers that I would never talk to because it felt exactly the same. I would spend hours a day sending likes and then get maybe one match the next day and thought to myself, well, like, what was the point of that? I wasted so much time. Every single profile became disposable. The lack of matches made me feel disposable. We're all just treating each other like disposable widgets. We just need people to take a chance or a risk on someone. We're not all perfect and polished. We're just human and we have faults, we have strengths and weaknesses. I didn't like how it made me feel being a perpetrator of worsening these trends on both sides. And it was only a matter of time I started thinking, like, what's the point of all of this? Why does Hinge do this? Why does it structure it the way it does? What would actually help me or you? What would an app look like if it was actually designed to help benefit you? And so by the end of the week, I was so glad it was over. Oh my gosh. I felt like a lab monkey, just like pushing a button to see if a treat or a reward would come out all day, every day. Despite the matches that I got, because most people ghosted me, I only am planning on going on one date with one person that I matched with like several weeks later on. So for all of that time, I'm meeting one person. Why does Hinge do this? Well, because it's a business. Hinge is a part of the publicly traded dating conglomerate monopoly, the Match Group. They own everything. Match.com, Tinder, Hinge. Like, it's a true monopoly. And its purpose is to make money off of you. It needs to keep you within its walls for as long as they can, because the longer you stay, the more likely you are to spend money. Like, even the fact that they double the standouts to an absurd 20 standouts, but you can't talk to them unless you have roses that you need to pay for separately. It's just optimizing for you to spend more money there. I don't need to see 20 additional people. And despite Hinge's clever motto, the app meant to be deleted, it is fundamentally antithetical to its purpose. If everyone found matches quickly and easily, they'd be off of Hinge instantly. Hinge is incentivized to make it a little bit difficult for you so that you end up paying for its premium features. So who is this for? I think it's people who feel that they might be in a certain type of accelerated time frame. Everyone says dating is a number game, and the fact that you can send an unlimited amount of likes and it gets seen first is a real benefit. It's almost like if you're stuck in traffic, you get to now be in the high occupancy vehicle lane, right? While everyone is stuck going slowly and there's a limit, your speed is unlimited. But then it really made me think, like, what would have really helped me or you? And I think that answer is a little bit trickier. I thought about it after the week and I thought, Well, you know, sometimes Hinge shows you, oh, we think you'd be a great fit with this person. If they did more of that, I think it would have helped. Because the people that they suggest on, oh, we think you and this person would be a good fit, have traditionally on paper been kind of what I was looking for. And then it makes me think, well, then are they just feeding into our stereotypes? If there's any lesson that I learned from dating recently, it's that sometimes opening up your criteria is better, because you might be surprised learning something new from a new person. Maybe some of the deal breakers that you thought were really important aren't as important as you thought. And so I don't want to feed into exaggerating stereotypes. And after my first week of being on Hinge Premium, Hinge is really confused who I like. I sent so many likes to every single type of person, regardless of their high raise education background, that now Hinge has no clue who to recommend for me. So it was really fun to try it out for that 1 week. Hinge gave me the same deal recently, and I was trying to do research for this video, and I thought, yeah, why not? And that helped reinforce some of the feelings that I had from the first time around. So yeah, what happens in the aftermath? When it ended, I was so glad. I was so glad to be able to get my time back and just be living life again. Make sure you turn off your subscription, because I hate when subscriptions auto-renew. That week, it felt like drinking from a fire hose. It felt like my eyes were being bleached just from staring at Hinge's white screen for hours on end. But amongst all the swiping, I not only lost my time, but a little bit of my humanity. It just made me feel objectively worse as a person, swiping that much, not getting that many matches. Like I said, I felt like a monkey in an experiment, just pressing the button over and over and over to see if I would get some kind of reward. Someone left a comment in my original video saying that they also got the premium feature and that it is exhausting. Now, I'm happy to pay $13 for a week. I think I would have been very unhappy if I paid $100 for 3 months of this. That sounds like hell. I would have wanted my money back. Because like everything else that sucks in today's world, we have no choice but to be with these crappy options that corporations throw at us. Because these products are meant to do only one thing, or maybe 2 things. It's to keep you on the apps so that they can profit off of you. Thank God it's over.